Hi guys, this is Lychee Punnet again. We're here with another set review. I've got a new mic, so you might hear less of my mouth breathing this time. This time we're covering Shining Resonance, which is the new extra booster release to complement or not complement Shining Force Exa, one of the older sets that has a band card in Weiss. Now we have a special guest this time, someone who actually plays this set, because me and W Kim don't play it. Say hi to everyone.
Hi, I'm Katsu.
He's Katsu.
Yeah.
So he's actually played Shining Resonance. He knows the names and everything, and he's very angry with Heart of the Cards for bastardizing all of the names. So he can have free reign to yell at them whenever he finds a problem. I think we can probably just jump straight in because I'm a little short on time today. Sound good?
Yep. First
Okay,
card is out.
sure.
So
All
we've got
right.
Marion de Shayla, is that right? Marion Les Shayla.
Marion Lishila.
So it's a yellow assist.
Hmm.
And when another character dies, you get to mill a card. Uh, I think this is terrible because there's a much better card that fills its place.
I agree. I don't like this card very much.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know, maybe if you're like really badly compressed or something?
I'm pretty sure you have far too many cards to run at level 0 to like think
Yeah,
about
I
this.
think,
Yeah,
especially with
yeah,
some of the other level 0 options, it's too clustered to afford
Yeah.
something like this.
Like it's completely random what you send from the top of the deck to waiting room, so you can't actually
yeah.
argue it's better compression or whatever. Like it's a higher percentage to make you better compressed, but there's also that chance that it's just terrible for you.
No climax level 3, time to cry.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, next card. I think we can all agree that's not a good card.
Whoa.
This would be the central card of the set, Yuma Ilburn, the protagonist of the quote-unquote protagonist, I think.
It's
Yeah, he's
my
pretty
knowledge.
much the protagonist.
Yeah, so he's got an irrelevant effect of getting 1k on your turn, and he's got the effect that everyone calls the Ricky effect. Pay one and clock your top deck to search level 1 when this comes into play.
He gets to join the long line of Riki, but better.
I wouldn't call this better than Ricky,
You'll
but
do
in
500 extra power.
okay, fine, the 500 extra. Yeah, anyway, in context, this is an incredible card.
Yeah, in the context of the set, it's definitely Riki, but better. Looking at the cards
Oh
individually,
no, no, no,
it's
no. Ricky in LB in context is actually probably better than this card.
I don't know. Let's see. I guess you can fetch more better cards at level 1 than this
Just
can.
because the card's name is printed on more cards here doesn't make it a better card.
Mm.
I think Ricky's anyway. That's an argument for a completely different topic.
But yeah, still
Um,
a good card. I mean, you're not actually playing this card very often, though. If you,
oh no, you are. You're playing it once or twice, I reckon.
yeah, it's just in general you got to keep in your hand for.
Oh no, no, no. You don't have to keep it in your hand. Just play it, and then you bond it back with another card we'll talk about later, and then you can proceed with it. That's like the strength of this card. You don't have to care about
Yeah.
keeping it in your hand because you've got 8 copies in the deck.
Functionally, yes.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
these cards are always the strength is always determined by two things. The first is how badly the deck wants advantage, and I feel the deck does really want the advantage. Second thing is how strong are your search targets, and I think you've got a fair few good targets.
Yeah, there are a couple good level ones.
You've got a few good level 1 options. We'll talk about them later.
We'll get to
Um,
them.
but I think this is just like a central card to the set. Run 4. If you don't run 4, you're either stupid or poor or both.
And with that, moving on.
This
Right.
is the replacement for profanity. You can just be really abusive.
You
I
Anyway,
know.
want to use it. All right. Anyways,
Speaking of the Bonder,
next up,
yep.
Agnum Bullet Heart. Some people spell it Agnum, which is really stupid. It's Agnum, obviously.
yes, the pronunciation is clearly getting to the people here,
More or less.
more or less. This is the first effect is not bad in the context of the set.
No, I think it's actually pretty good. So what can you search? So the ability itself for people not following with us is You get to pay one and drop one, so standard searcher effect, but your search targets are restricted to resonance cards. So anything that has the ability resonance, not the it's not shining resonance, the title. So
The
the
notable,
relevant targets. What
yeah,
are
the
the
notable
relevant
targets
targets?
I remember are the 0-0 assist that lets you early play level
Uh,
3,
yeah.
the 1-0 counter that becomes a 2K,
Mm-hmm.
and the 2-1 deck refresher.
I think there's also a really good target in the I think it's a 1-0 yellow. I can't forget who it is.
Yeah, it's a 1-0 Agnum.
Yeah,
It's
that card is really when I read it, I'm like, oh well, this solves a lot of issues for the deck.
yeah.
It seems pretty good. It's a
I don't know. A
well,
lot of people I talk to kind of overlook it, but
yeah, well, a lot of
yeah.
people you talk to are wrong. Sorry, I'm just like that
No,
sometimes.
no, it's
I think that's a great card, and I think that because of that, Agnum is just a really good card already. Now let's get to the second bit. It has a quote unquote bond effect. It's not your standard bond because you don't go +1. You have to drop a card in order to use this bond, but the bond is for the aforementioned Yuma, the Ricky clone, basically. So not only do you get it back in hand to resonate with, because Yuma is the resonance target for this deck, you get that effect late game. But if, for example, you took a Yuma as damage early on and want that plus, then you get to get it back and get your plus. Everyone's happy.
yeah.
Yep.
Would you run four though? That's the question.
I
No.
don't know.
And
Yeah, I'd probably run like two or three.
most sets with drop searchers, even for like every trait, you generally don't run 4 of them unless you really have nothing else to run.
Pretty well. It depends on the deck,
It
not
depends
just
on
the
the
set.
deck, of course, but in general, you don't really run 4 drop searchers for the sake of just having the drop searcher.
Yeah.
So probably 2 or 3, just because it hits a lot of the relevant targets and it's also a relevant bonder.
Or rather than hitting a lot of the relevant targets, I think it has enough relevant targets to hit that it's not dead at any point. Plus, being able to bond back Yuma is just really good. So I wouldn't play four, but the only person here who's actually like made a shining deck. Do you have an opinion on this?
Uh, I don't know, dude. I honestly, I think four is a little much. Like
Hmm.
two or three is fine.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just extra outs to your late game Ricky and occasionally some value early game, I guess.
Hmm.
I
Also, drop
mean,
searches are never bad.
in the worst case, if you have like end up at level 3 with no stock, you can at least try to get 2 attackers onto the field with this.
Yeah, it's 0-0. That's always a plus.
And then the actual ability to ditch to bond is relevant when you have no stock and can't afford to take a hit.
Yeah, I feel like this deck is kind of stock hungry at times too, so
It
it's
is.
good. Yeah, that's good.
Next card.
Yeah, next card is Golden Lightning Princess Sonya. So I haven't played this game, but she's clearly best girl. And this card it's fine. Like what can I say? It's a 6/5.
Yeah, it's a very typical card to be seeing printed these days.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think if you choose to run a yellow level one, it's pretty viable because of this and two other cards.
1065s. Moving on.
Right.
Lightning Princess who guides dragons, Sonya. This is a level assist, so it's 2/1. That gives assist times five, assist X times 500. Power equals the character's level. X equals power's level, whatever, whatever. You know what a level assist is if you listen to this cast. Resonance, you reveal Yuma and drop a card from hand and then tap it in order to refresh your deck. So you return all cards in your waiting room to your deck and shuffle. Thoughts?
It's super good.
I would put 1 or 2 in the deck because it's searchable,
I
and
yeah.
it's a basically free deck refresh, which lets you drop a climax to even improve the ratio in your deck. Is
I
always good.
wouldn't call it free. Like -1 is a big deal,
Minus
but
one's a big deal, but if -1 saves you from 3 climaxes in a 15 card deck, then totally worth it.
well,
Yeah,
in that
dude.
situation, you're going from 3 in a 15 card deck to 4 in a 16 card deck.
Hey,
It's not,
that's actually that's like you're
that
going
is
from
actually a
you're going
substantial
Yeah.
that's a
increase. Eh?
5% increase chance to cancel on any given attack. That's
Don't get
that's
all
enormous.
statistics on me. Yeah, no, that's fair. I can understand that.
But that's like
Um,
one of those worst case situations. Like that's assuming you have like every climax is in your stock or hand already. It's like, well, then you're already crying tears.
I really like this card, but I don't think it's as good as most other refreshers.
Really?
Well, you've
Which
got this.
which refreshers are you comparing it to though? Because
Oh, I'm
this kind of
well,
effect you would compare to command refreshers rather
more or
than
less, more or less any refresher that isn't the DC one, because the DC one is comparable to this one.
because the effect is a command refresh rather than the come and play
Yeah,
refresh effect. So you got the only ones that really come to mind that actually have like command refresh as an effect are like a terrible Michelle from Terraformers, this and Decapo.
there's also one in Daybreak Illusion that no one runs.
Wonderful. So we're back to
Um,
cards that no one runs, right? So it's like
no, but my point is that I never really regarded the five or less as a huge hurdle to get to get a one cost heal, and the fact that you go neg 1 with this, as opposed to the occasional +1 that you get from say, uh, the Nisekoi one, the Disgaea one, and the newly revealed Index one, I think that's a really big deal. The other thing is, I think this set has back row syndrome.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
your back row does
yes.
get kind of cluttered.
yeah, we'll talk about that later, but I don't think you can just afford to have this down and not sacrifice another row or something because there's well, we'll talk about the overall game plan once we cover the relevant cards, but I think that you've got a bit of back row competition in this set.
I
Mm-hmm,
agree,
for
but
sure.
that's why I'm only thinking of this card as a one or two of anyways. It's mostly there for when you need it.
Yeah. But with other free freshers, you either had that as your central game plan, which this cannot be because there's a much better card to have in your back row,
This is
or
true, but other free
or
freshes are generally more plussy.
yeah, no, not necessarily. A lot of them just +0. Or you just chuck it in the front row and get a refresh and get a beater. Whereas this is only going to give you value if it's in the back row and only
Mm-hmm.
if you advance summon, which is one of the reasons you have back row problems to begin with. So I think this is a great card. I just don't think it's as immediately amazing as a lot of people were making it out to be.
I agree. I still think it's probably one or two of max in deck.
Oh no,
Yeah, that's
that's pretty much indisputable. It's also best girl, so I can't be too hard, right?
Okay,
just
moving
waiting
to
for you to say
the
that.
first level 3 on the set.
Also best girl.
It's not
Sonia
Yuma. Yuma's
Branch.
Sonia
not best girl.
Branch, not Blanche. It's
Is
Branch.
it not Blanche? Blanche is so much more French sounding.
I mean, yeah, like you would think that, but dude, if you actually play the game, there's actual like
Branches.
little loading screens that no, not Branch. There's loading screens that actually show you the English name. It's
Yeah, but
Branch.
Japan is terrible with English. Like, I've seen people literally romanize can kole as in Kantai collection as can kore. Like, who
That's
does that?
incredible.
No, that was like an official romanization I saw in a shop at one point. It was retarded.
Which
Anyways,
was just a bad
so
bootleg.
this card
Yeah.
gives me flashbacks to Gigant Shooter. As a purveyor of basically free early plays, this condition is free.
Wrong card.
Oh,
We're
sorry,
talking
we
about
got to the wrong
Stan.
card. This one's
This
still
is
fine.
this is best girl, not blonde elf girl, whose
Oh,
name Kirika or whatever. Yeah.
whatever.
Sonya is a 3/2/9K. She's yellow. When she comes to stage,
Heals.
she can. No, she doesn't heal.
Oh,
When
that's
she
not
comes
you.
to stage, she cantrips. So she looks at 3, adds
Oh,
1 to your hand,
Mhm.
which is good.
yes.
And when you play Yellow Climax, of which there are several decent ones,
2k power.
it gets 2k power. And it's also got.
Oh,
When you.
restand effect.
Yeah, it's a restander. When you kill something, you can pay 3. And if you do, you get to restand. Oh, no, no, no. When you kill something with the climax, which is a shot climax, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken.
Yes, it's
When,
shot.
when you kill something with the shot climax in play, so that'll make it a how big will that be?
13.
12k.
Like
Or
12K.
12. 12 before
Yeah,
back rows.
it'll be
Yeah.
12k. You can pay 3, and then if you do, you restand.
That's actually a really cheap restand effect.
It's a good restand effect, but
I'm okay with this. I actually really like restanders in general.
I am more. I like this card better than the other yellow finisher, and I'll talk about that when it comes.
I think it's
But
about to come up.
Yeah,
that's
it's the next
yeah.
one.
That's only because I don't like going super all in on something and not having a fallback plan.
Yeah, I think this
I
is a more reliable
guess.
card.
I don't know about reliable, but I do. I do think that when it fails, you're not completely out of the game, as opposed to the other one where you're kind of, you're kind of
Kind
stuck.
of.
I don't know,
Look at
man.
top
Like
three. Add one to
9K on
hand.
defense?
Nine
Well,
count defense, but then what else are you gonna have on the field? If they can murder your other stuff, which they might be able to if they're doing well. Uh,
you're also
well,
talking about a
well,
set with a 114K counter, though.
okay, sure.
So,
Um,
like, if you really wanted to keep it around for another restand, it's not like it's impossible.
oh no, I wasn't even talking about this card. I was talking about the
Oh, the
next
other
card we're
card?
gonna talk about.
Oh, I'm
But
talking about
no,
this
no,
card.
yeah, no, I like Sonya. I think it's a fine card.
Yeah.
If Yuma didn't exist, it'd still be fine. It'd be an auto inclusion, but since Yuma does exist, there are going to be people playing that instead. I think I would play Sonya, but that's just me.
I like restanders. I really do.
Like speaking from a more conservative point of view, restand is getting worse and worse, and so many sets are getting the sack counters.
Yes.
But this one only pays after you reverse, so
Yeah. Well,
it's fine.
Yeah.
there are very few restanders that pay on attack.
Well, there are a few, and there are some that see play.
Yeah. The only one that comes to mind is like the Sword Art one.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But that one sees play, oddly enough.
It's only because it heals, I think.
Nah, it is a conditionless, quote unquote,
Okay,
conditionless
being
restand.
3-6 is not a conditionless restand.
Uh, okay, fine. Anyway, Sonya. So Sonya is good, I think.
I agree. I like this card.
Yeah.
It seems
I
to be
think
the
she's
most
worth
expensive.
giving a shot.
I think the only problem she has is that she has decent competition.
Yes, but decent competition means that you're just kind of weighing your preferences for these cards in the first place.
Yeah, that's fair. I try to look at things from an objective standpoint. It's not like I'm playing it purely because it's Sonya or anything.
No,
Oh,
no,
totally
that's,
not.
that's
Oh.
totally why you don't have that.
I know that what I've been saying for the past 10 minutes has not really led to that conclusion, but trust me, I try to play the best cards.
Well, moving to the next card, which
The
is
boy with a dragon's heart, Yuma. So we've got a protagonist level 3. It's got a bunch of irrelevant effects, and then it has the scary effect that everyone was going insane over. So it's got so I'll go for the effects in turn. Or I'll go for the least exciting ones first. First, this ability activates up to once a turn. When this card is reversed in battle, if your stock is 0, rest it. Now this makes absolutely no sense without the next card. Like you can get it done. Like you can have 0 stock, you can pay an encore, and you can get a free.
the problem is the beginning of your encore step means that you cannot encore
Oh
something
wait, no,
else.
no, you can't actually do that. No, it just makes absolutely no
It,
sense unless you're playing with the
you
other.
you
The
have to be
next,
running the other card or like pay out all your stock using the restander.
yeah, the next effect is this ability activates up to once a turn. La di da. You get a burn climax effect. So if this card's damage is cancelled, you do 1 damage to your opponent. It's fine. Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. And then the effect that everyone's been waiting for. Rest 2 of your other music or dragon characters and send this card to memory. When this card is placed from your hand to stage, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one Shining Dragon Awakened form in your waiting room and place it in the slot that this card was in.
Well, seeing as we just reached the dragon, we'll just flip him over on
It's
the.
the very next card. So we will flip the Planeswalker over. It's a dragon now.
Dear God.
Shining Dragon Awakened form. Power 12,000. Ironic, like 12,000 was not a number that appeared in Weiss for a while, but we suddenly have 3 of them. So,
3.
yeah, the English Titans one and
Ah,
Toma.
yes.
Yeah. So
Oh.
this is actually the 3rd one, which is kind of funny. The ability is send all of your stock to waiting room, and you can't send 1, 2, 3, or 0 stock. You have to send 4 or more.
At least 4.
At least 4, and then discard a card. During the turn, this card is placed to stage by the auto ability of the aforementioned Yuma. At the beginning of your encore step, if you have 4 or more stock, so this is why you can't pay 1, 2, 3, or 0, you may pay cost. If you do, perform the following action 2 times. Deal 6 damage to your opponent. Afterwards, send this card to memory and put level 3 Yuma back on the stage in any slot. For those who stop listening halfway through, you basically do 6 damage to your opponent twice.
This goes into those really funny cards.
I think this is one of the more viable funny cards, kind of like Gigan Kirito, honestly.
Gigan Kirito is especially funny when your opponent's at 3-6, but
Well, you kind of just don't you just win if you get a reversal then?
no, you just win at climax phase because you just pick a card in the front
Oh,
row and
that's right. Yeah, that is right. Yeah. Anyway, I think this card is interesting. We'll go over the pros first. First of all,
deal 6 damage
twice
Twice.
plus
twice.
a third attack. It's not three soul like Toma is, but
Fortunately.
it's pretty good.
Unfortunately,
No, fortunately, because
very fortunately.
I'm not sure you actually want to hit for three.
Probably not. Not with this kind of effect, at least, because this
Yeah.
effect and hitting for 3 are not exactly productive with one another.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the only reason you're playing this card to ping them for six twice.
I know a lot of people are very inclined to like side attack with this card at times just to avoid certain effects like memory kickers at level 3
Yeah, I can
and
see that.
and other on attack or like both turn claw kickers that are a concern.
If you have so much stock that you can afford to put this in the back row, that's an option as well.
Yes, that is also an option, but I don't think you're ever gonna have that much stock with this set.
Oh, it depends. I think you could, but as to whether it's a wise decision.
Okay, well,
Yeah, no.
moving to the downsides, you're
Yeah,
you're hitting for 6 twice.
Yeah, against any set that compresses fairly well, you're probably going to miss at least one of them, and probably both. I I'm not high on six as an amount of damage you deal. I like three. I like four. I'm okay with five. Six is a bit much.
I mean, the only other time I've managed to do more than 6 in attack was with +2 soul and some stupid combos, but
But was that after refresh?
well, I happened to trigger 2 soul and it all went in, so I guess it worked out.
But were they refreshed or?
Yeah, they were refreshed.
Oh wow. Well, there you go.
Ooh.
There
So
you go.
that is
It's very possible that you just outright win the game with this
yeah,
card.
it's a shining example of the fact that Weiss can be capricious and you can just win the game.
Oh, I see what you did there.
On average, though, I don't think the card is necessarily going to get the job done. The second effect to get the Yuma back is supposed to be used in tandem so that when you have no stock, at least you'll still have 2 soul beaters when it comes back to your turn.
Yeah, I think the problem is a 10 or it'll probably be 11-5 or more. An 11-5 beater is not necessarily going to cut it, especially if you don't have much else.
Your field's definitely going to be lacking. You need
No, not necessarily. You're just not going
Well,
to have any stock to replace
luckily,
the
you
field.
only need 3 stock to go into the turn to
Yeah.
make the effect happen.
Well, you need three stock, then you need the Yuma, and you need two costless characters.
Yeah.
Or,
Or
use
just-
both your back row, which is not a good
You can't
idea.
use both your back row because you need to tap your back row to activate the
Oh,
effect.
that's right.
Oh god, that's right. Yeah. So
You
you
need
do
a full
need
field and 3
you
stock.
need a fair number of resources.
It's okay though, because Shining Resonance has advantage out the butt, right?
Apparently, we'll talk about that in a sec. The other problem I see with this card is if you fail, you're stuck with no stock, one less hand. They're probably going to refresh soon and force you to kill them through an even harder hurdle. And you're going to have a 10k, and then the rest of your field is a mystery. I'm not really sold on that. It's too YOLO, as the cool kids would say, for me.
It's okay, man. Untap your back row, push him up.
That's not gonna fly, man. Anyway, I just think this card is really, really YOLO. Like I can see it winning games, sure, but I've seen many silly things win games, so I'm not sold on the fact that this can just insta kill people.
Just as remembering things, what's the text on money counter and compass? Does it say prevent combat damage or just prevent
No, no, no.
damage till the end of turn?
It's choose a battling character. That character gains this cannot deal damage to the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Okay,
So if
so
you money counter
the
Dragon,
damage, yeah,
Against those sets, you actually have to find a slot to side attack or something, or else you're
the damage is actually from Shining Dragon. So
Yes.
if it gets money counted, it does exactly zilch.
yeah, you got to be
that's-
aware of
And
that.
the other thing I want to tackle before we do you guys have anything else to say about this card? I think we've covered it. It's high ceiling, high risk.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
that's about it.
Yeah.
The one other thing I want to cover is, sorry, I choked on some water. Um, it's a ruling thing that came up. Pardon me.
More headaches.
You can only play one of these. Do not be fooled.
Yeah.
The timing makes it so you have to pay each amount of stock at a time, and when the next ability comes, it will check how much stock you have. You will have zero stock after paying once, so you cannot pay the second one.
I don't know if it's about the timing thing, but it's just
Well, it's the fact that it
I think
primes
it's
and
just
then it
because of
needs
the Haruna
conditions.
precedent.
Well, that's because the Haruna President has the ability which primes, and then the execution of the ability, it checks for the precedent. So, because the timing is in the ability itself and not during the payment of costs, it's a timing issue in my eyes.
Probably.
That's not actually important. The important thing is you can only use one of these shoot six abilities. Don't be fooled.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's go with that.
All
In
right.
reality, you probably only were gonna do it once anyways, so
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure there's someone out there who's that is both
going
be
into their
fooled.
turn 3 with like 7 stock and 12 cards in their hand so they can keep tapping cards.
Oh yeah, like someone who's failed to read the foreign jibber jabber and failed to listen to this will probably try it at some point. Good luck to them. So I think we've said enough about that card. Don't get me wrong, we've said a lot of bad things about it, but I can totally see it working. Like Yuma by itself is a serviceable finisher, because it's still got the ping one, and the Shining Dragon itself is like okay.
It's a shame the ping one is only on play.
Yeah, if it was when it comes from the waiting room or whatever. Even if that happened, then it would be wasted though.
Yeah, because it goes to the opponent's turn and comes back and it's already gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It would have to be like every turn it would do that, but that would be like a
that would be
2k
kind of
power
broken.
loss.
Yeah. I mean, they did give that Kirika gimmick to her, so it wasn't completely out of the imagination. Anyway, yeah, no, the card is fine, I think. You can I probably wouldn't run it except as like a two of Yuma, one of Dragon, kind of like how I run uh the Devil Survivor setup.
Devil
But
Survivor is kind of special though.
yeah, I would probably focus more on Sonya as my finisher because she's a lot more controllable, I feel. Like dealing three or four multiple times is better than dealing six, in my opinion.
I agree personally.
True.
It also, this is a pretty dead card in your hand. A 3/3 2 soul
Oh,
beater,
yeah,
which
but
is what's the most relevant part at that point. Super dead.
I feel Weiss is a game where you don't really have to consider that, especially in a set with a free fresh.
It can happen, man. It can happen.
Yeah, it can happen, but I don't think it's a big deal.
But with that said, moving on to the next card, so we can start moving along.
Katsu, if you think this card is great and you think that we're just talking out of our asses, then feel free to
No,
correct
dude,
us.
As the only
I
person who plays
agree.
this set.
Yeah, like uh anyway. Next card is Words of Gratitude, Sonya. So it's a brainstorm, and it gives all your characters 500 on your turn. The brainstorm is for each climax revealed, search your deck for one level 1 or lower character, and then add it to your hand and ditch your card. So it's a +0, but you get to filter your hand and get level 1 or lowers.
That is such an
Um,
interesting search target restriction.
It's pretty cool.
yeah.
It's definitely a one of, I feel, at the very least.
If you need a spammable brainstormer, then yes, you obviously run one of this. But I mean, you also have a pay one rest this search for any music or dragon in this deck. So
I'll get to my problems with that card when we get to that card.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think this card is fine. Just chuck it in the front row, maybe pay one, filter your hand, get another 1/0. You're done.
yeah, that's
It's
about
good.
it.
The fact that you can convert this to advantage, costless advantage, is what's got me sold, pretty much. You can convert to advantage with the 1/0 that we'll talk about in a bit. Yeah, I think it's a fine card.
I
I
think it's
would,
good. Like it's playable. I wouldn't say it's
I
not.
mean, it's okay as just a spammable brainstorm.
I
Yep.
think it's a great card as a spammable brainstormer, and that makes it a playable card.
Next card.
Yep. It says level zero beta. You've got a level zero runner. Do we have to cover the level zero betas?
Hey man, I
Okay.
personally don't like the runner, but that's just
Fine,
me.
fine. Passionate beat, Agnum, 2k. This card can't side attack because he's passionate and stuff. If you've got another character with assist, it gets 2k power. So it'll be a 4-5 if you get
5 yo.
4-5. Yeah, that power. Cool, I guess. It's a 4-5 on both turns, which is nice, but it doesn't get a level, doesn't get can't be reversed, gets bombed. What deck doesn't run bombs? Shiny doesn't run bombs.
Yeah,
Yeah, awesome in the
I
mirror
cry
match.
every day.
I'm sure you can just run the old bomb and gates if you really want to. Yeah, no. By the way, we've been ignoring the traits this entire time, but that's because they've never really been
Everything's pretty
relevant.
much the same.
Yeah, everything's got either music or weapon trait, and that makes them all searchable.
Or dragon.
Or dragon, that's right.
Oh, whoops. So I cycle to the next card. I patch
Yes,
person.
cool-headed sniper Ete. Ete? Et? I don't know how
Et.
to pronounce it. Et, sure. If you've got one or few other characters, it gets 1.5 and then some plot-related name thing. Cool.
Yeah,
It's
it's
sometimes a
okay.
4-5 as
Woo.
well. It's a less demanding 4-5 if you also have the assist. But you can't play multiples of them. Anyway, there's a runner. I'm not sure why we're really talking about these.
All right, let's move on then.
There's a guy named Zest in this game.
Yeah, he's like one of the antagonists.
It's an ultimate hipster name, man. And his second name is Graham. That's like my top 10 least favorite names of all time.
Well, there you
Zest.
go. He's an antagonist. Obviously, he's got to have a name that you don't like, right?
Graham's like one of those outdated names that's also impossible to pronounce properly unless someone's told you what it's pronounced.
You know, like lemon zest.
Oh, le- le- you can't take him seriously if you think of nothing but lemon zest.
He's like a
we've
little
been,
bit sour. There you go. You use him in baking.
we've been taking the piss out of him, but in reality, it's a pretty fine standalone. If you've got no other characters, it's a 4-5 that can't. It's a 4K that can't be bombed.
Unbombable.
That's like
Yeah.
the most relevant oversized card
It's
so
pretty
far.
solid. But
Yeah.
running it in this deck is a flavor fail because like everything else is gonna not be an antagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good card, but if you care about flavor, which you shouldn't run it. Good card.
Right, 1-0
Uh,
resonance counter. It's 2k
Yep.
if you have Yuma.
Yep,
That's basically it.
Yeah.
It's a relevant search target. It's a 2k counter for all of your somewhat above average sized characters. It's pretty great. I'd run 3, really. Depending on room. You can also play it as a 1-0, which makes it better than a 1-1 in my opinion.
Yep.
Definitely.
Alright. Next card, Maturing Spirit Yuma. It's a 1-0 4K. For each of your characters with assist, this gets 1k power. So we can think of it as a 6k if you have the requisites.
7. Because you have
7.
assists.
7? Oh, well,
Not necessarily. There is an assist in this set which doesn't give
Okay,
any power.
there is the
Yeah.
frontal hand on court assist, but you're basically looking at anywhere from 6 to 7.
5. Yeah,
7.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, but as a base, I think it's a 1-0 6k. Or probably.
And that-
Okay, fine. It's more because you have assists.
I mean,
Uh,
that's fine too. Like,
yeah.
106k.
That's one of the reasons I think this is fine. And the other ability is if you've got the wind climax in the climax zone, all of your other characters get the ability. When this card's damage is cancelled, you may send one card from the top of your deck to stock.
Yeah, but it's on attack, which is like the problem with the card. So you have to attack with it first, and you cannot benefit
Yeah.
from multiple of it on the field. You can't really benefit from multiple on the field. It's still
That's true
possible
because
to.
it says all your other characters,
All
correct?
other, so he doesn't
Yes,
benefit,
all others.
and
He
then
doesn't
he
get-
has to give it on attack. So
Yeah, well, I feel this is like not the central point of this card. The central point of this card is I'm a 1-0 6k.
yeah, That's probably the more relevant
Yeah,
part.
yeah, I guess.
The other effect is like if you're running a wind climax anyway, then okay, go for it, I guess. But it's a good card even without the wind climax synergy, and with the wind climax synergy, it can sometimes push it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would run this. Seems
I
fine.
don't think I would.
I mean, it's fair. Like,
If you
I
want a
guess
yellow,
if
if
you
you
really
want
want
a
stock,
yeah, if you want a yellow level one, I guess you might have to run.
but if you want
No,
a
no, the
yellow
next
level
card.
one,
Next card, and then you have
yeah.
a very relevant
Yeah, never
1/1
mind me.
coming up as
Never
well.
mind. Yeah, the next card is actually just really good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this card is okay. It might be playable. Maybe it's a one-off. Because you can search it if you have to. The next card, Roaring Flame User Agnum. So when this plays from hand to stage, it gets 1/5, so it's a 6k. The interesting bit is the next one. Clock yourself once, so from the top of your deck, and reveal Yuma in your hand. At the beginning of your climax phase, you may pay the cost, so resonate, clock yourself, show Yuma. If you do, this card gets 2k, and the ability, when this card's battle opponent is reversed, you may draw a card. Totally random advantage, but I like it a lot.
I like the card. Compared, you would
good.
compare it to the blue equivalent with the changes in the same set. I personally prefer this version because there's no climax restriction.
Yeah.
This is just good advantage, I think, and there's other problems with the blue card.
Oh yeah, it also requires you to like, change.
Yeah, you need to do some stupid swap nonsense, which
And
is
if you miss, you're like, well, I guess I'm not killing anything anymore.
yeah, it's kind of sad. This card is going to die on the swing back, like that's a guarantee, but it's already gotten you a lot of advantage, so I think it's enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I think it's good.
I like it.
Probably the most underrated card. I've never seen anyone discuss this card at all. They always jump to like the 1/8k or Kirika combo or Sonya, whereas this card is like a standout for me.
You know what I really have a problem with though?
Hmm?
This card is the only male character with residence.
Is that a problem?
Yes. It's a huge problem because they could have given it to Best Girl instead.
All right, yeah. Katsu's had this ongoing issue with Best Girl, whose name I've forgotten.
Rina.
Yeah, Rina. Okay, sure. He's got this problem with Rina not getting any good cards. He was
didn't
hoping
get any
every
good
single
cards
day.
at all.
Every single day, he was just hoping the card of the day, which I haven't checked actually, the card of the day would give her a good card, and she didn't get one.
Dude, this had a lot of potential. I mean, like, on reverse draw one, that's a blue effect,
This is
man.
not- this
They
is
could have
not-
given it to Rina.
Not the first time that Bushiroad has squandered potential. Remember Kill la Kill. Rest in pieces. Anyway, Genius Aeon. For each marker on this card, it gets 1k. And when this battle opponent's reversed, you can...
Put a marker under it.
Oh, it's the stupid Phantom card.
Except the Phantom one is
except
better.
you don't choose your target. It's objectively worse.
The Phantom
Yeah,
one not
pretty
only
much is.
chooses a target, but it also comes out at level 0.
Not objectively worse, because sometimes there's no targets for the Phantom one.
This is true. You do need to pick a card with Phantom in the name. Which is
yeah.
generally your level 3s, but...
Oh, no, you need to put a weapon trait under it. It's not a
Oh,
Phantom.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's,
Which is like half the cards in the deck.
yeah, okay.
If not more.
Well, you're basically saying, I like this level 3, it's going under this, so that when I play over it later, we can do some fun times with a 2-soul.
Anyway, I think this is one stock for questionable benefit, so I wouldn't even consider it.
I agree. I think there's a better 1/1 regardless.
Yep.
Yeah. In the Resonance deck, it's not really that viable when you look at other options, but I think for the old Exa builds, it's actually pretty good, especially since it's weapon trait. So you can run it with, like, there's a back row that gives weapons, like, +1 level, +500. So, yeah.
I still don't think this is worth running. This is not Mark Arsenal. You have to jump through far too many hoops. Anyway, Wandering Magician Agnum. It's a 2/1 7k. It's all relevant. If you have 4 or more other music or dragon characters, it becomes a 1/1 in your hand. So it's still level 2 on the field. And when another musical dragon character attacks, it gets 1k for the turn.
This is
Um,
probably what you would run instead of the above 1/1 if you wanted to
Yeah,
run.
dude. Like honestly.
more or less, yeah, it's unbombable. It's 7k by default
That's not
plus,
true.
7k
It's not
plus.
unbombable. There are cost 1 reversers.
Mm.
Yeah, like how many of those there?
2.
Yeah. And what series are those? Oh, you can also get bombed by the Persona, Adachi.
Yes, but that's not a
Oh,
cost 1 reverser. There's only 2 cost 1 reversers.
yes, but it is a plus level reverser, and that is in effect here.
Yeah. Plus level
Anyway.
is just as good.
Yeah, like
in
if
general.
they use Adachi to bomb you, then it's actually like bad for them.
Less good at my shop because I play there.
Yeah. I think this is a perfectly serviceable card. You maybe run 1 or 2 if you want a big, fat, costed, unbombable.
Yeah, it also gets hand-on core because of your back row, so
Oh, that's right.
it
Yeah.
has some sustainability even if they do happen to kill it. It is a bit weak on their turn, though. At 7/5, it actually dies to a lot of relevant level 1 cards in other sets.
Like every relevant power-based level 1 card and some of the non-power-based ones too.
Things like girlfriends.
Yeah. I mean, you have a. We're gonna talk about the 1/1 counter in a bit, but you have ways to stop it dying. And we have the 2k counter that we mentioned earlier. So yeah, I think this is actually a very good card.
No, I like it.
This is like the best minus
Yeah.
level
You would
level 2.
you would pretend it's a level 1 card as far as
It
building your
is a
deck.
level 1 card as far as I'm concerned, just like the blue level 3 is level 2.
It is just going to be really awkward when you somehow don't have a full heal field.
Yeah. Alright, next card is the Token Eye Patch Girl, Opened Heart Marion. She's a 2/2, 8/5. If you've got 3 or less other characters, you can't actually play this from hand. And if you have 3 or more other musical dragon characters, this card gets 1k and Encore. Hand Encore. Worthless.
It's 2 soul.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's too soul.
That's it. Moving
But
on.
at level 2, you have better 2-soul things. to play.
Yeah.
Anyway, next card is Banned. This is the subject of much ire from various individuals on the foreign community.
I think the ire is unjustified. It's literally 500 power over
No,
usual
no, no, no.
1/1
The
counters.
ire is flavor ire because like it does the same thing regardless of who is center
Oh,
stage.
Yeah,
you know,
dude.
Yeah.
okay, so flavor ire, sure, but as far as the actual card is concerned, it's literally just 500 better than another counter with a restriction.
It's basically irrelevant because at that point there's very few things that are going to be that much bigger or that much smaller that the extra 500 is going to matter. But no, the flavor ire is what tickled me. It made me laugh a lot because this is definitely not the first time they've failed flavor
It
ones.
made me hella mad.
Yeah, you and
just,
you and one other specific person.
Cycling through the arts while we're at it.
I like the fact that the Sonya and Kirika arts are 100 yen, whereas the Yuma one is like 30 yen.
Oh, yeah.
You say?
It gives you an idea of what people want.
Sexist. Anyway, it's a 1/1 4K counter. You're always going to be able to play it. Wait, no. Are you always going to be able to play it?
You
You're
need to
gonna
have
try it.
one of the 3 characters on your front row.
Chances are you're going to have Sonya or Kirika.
In your front row center
Your
slot,
center?
I think.
You're going to
Yeah,
have
your center slot.
you're going to have a 1/0 Sonya or Kirika, or you're going to have the 3/2 Kirika.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
if you're running the counter, you're actually just gonna put one of them in the front center slot every time.
More or less. Yeah, so that's not much of a condition, and it's fine. Alright, climaxes, and we're on to blue. Alright, so
Oh, here's the card I was talking about earlier.
Yes.
That like I
Yeah, Kirika Toa Alma.
yep, so she's also a resonator, but she's also an assist 500. So the resonate effect is stupid. It is pay 1, reveal a Yuma in your hand and tap it. At the
Search.
beginning of climax phase, you may pay the cost, and if you do, search for your 2/2.
yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Do too.
you're 2/2. It says 3/2, but that's a dirty lie.
If you've got this
Yep.
on the if you've got this on the field already and you're using the effect, then it's like 99.5% chance likely to be a 2/2.
As someone who plays a worse version of this effect, I can assure you this effect is as free as it sounds.
I'm just gonna say that they printed almost precisely the same card in the index comeback, except the advanced summon ability made it so much worse. The advanced summon condition is so much worse.
The advanced summon condition is 6 or more climaxes.
The advanced summon The advanced summon condition is not free, is my problem.
Yes, this is free, but this is even freer than the one in Gigant Shooter because the condition is costless.
Yeah, dude.
So stupid. Anyway,
So bad.
We'll get to why it's stupid when we get to the other card, I guess.
yeah, this is like a 4 off, I think.
Yes,
Because you need 4 in
you
order
need
to
four
have
just
2.
to reliably get the effect. Also, because you're generally playing with back rows, you might actually need to put one in the front row to get the minus
No,
level
you
condition.
will have to get one in the front row
Yeah.
to use the
Yeah.
minus level condition. That's my main issue with this card.
So
Like you absolutely have to. You're giving up on a row or you're giving up on a card. But that's fine. Like you get a lot of benefits out of it anyway.
well, next card.
Rinna Mayfield. Hey, look, it's best girl who has a bad card.
Yeah.
This is a silly scramble effect. When this card is placed from hand stage, you may send 3 cards from the top of your deck to waiting room. And when this card attacks, if you're level 0, you may return your hand to your deck and shuffle. If you do, draw the same number of cards. Why is she best girl?
I have a friend who runs the exact same card in Lucky Star.
Is it good?
It saves him several times. It's when you open up with those 3 climax hands, you
Yeah,
can
but-
actually hold on to the climaxes and draw into this, or have this in
That's-
your opening hand as well.
That's only because Lucky Star, like, I assume he's playing the Otaku build.
Yes,
Lucky Star Otaku doesn't really have a way to fix its hand otherwise.
this is also true.
Whereas Shining has, like, many, many
A
ways.
billion.
Yeah. It's got the Sonya, it's got the Yuma Bond, it's got other things. It definitely has other things.
The effect isn't terrible. It's just there's no space for me at level 0 in this set already.
I like the Mill 3.
Mill 3 is never bad.
No, 3 is pretty. Yeah.
It's good to get you through the first, it's good to get you through your first deck,
Yeah.
get to your first refresh, and sometimes it's good when you know that you have no more climaxes left or whatever. I think this is better than people give it credit for, but I also don't think it's worth a slot.
I agree.
Okay,
Speaking
next
of
one.
zeros,
Rinner and Cheese. When this card attacks, reveal a card from the top of your deck. If it's a music or dragon character, add it to your hand and send the card. Really? I didn't even know this existed.
it's a good
said
card.
you said she got no good cards.
Really?
What?
This is pretty
This
good.
is a good card. Hand filtering for free.
Have you ever played Madoka? Do you know how good Psycho looks up to Mami is?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know how many sets would kill for this effect? This is a great card.
Okay, okay. I can see she has one good card.
Also,
And just to share it with a cheese character.
cheese character. Okay.
Its name is Fromage. That's why
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
calling it cheese character. Yeah, the salt is not justified.
Never mind that the card art is fucking hilarious.
Katsu confirmed salt miner. Go back to your mine.
Go back to the mine. Next card, I
Fine.
guess.
So it's a level 0 blue. It's really good. When it attacks, you get to top check. If it's a musical dragon, adds hand, discard. That's
Reveal
like
top.
good card dot card.
I think it's a mandatory reveal top, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Which is pretty good.
which means
I'd take the filter.
yeah, free filters.
Anyway. It
Next
also
card.
digs you one deeper, which is great. Exella, Dragon Knight Princess of the Divine Melody. That's actually a pretty cool name. So this is the assist effect I alluded to earlier. Characters in
hand
front of this.
encore.
Yeah, frontal hand encore.
And Encore Giver.
And then
Brains-
pay one, rest
brains-
this.
Yep, so non-spammable brainstorm that searches for any music or dragon character.
So if it's in the
this-
set,
Yeah, so this is notable as one of, I think, only 2 ways to get any character in your deck.
yes.
Yes.
The other way being an effect that, like, it's just a standard drop searcher that no one's going to run. because
Also,
they're greedy.
gates if you, for some reason, are running red.
I don't think there's much reason to run red unless you really want to
Yeah.
bomb. Anyway, this card is problematic because of back row syndrome. And I don't know if Encore is as good as the extra 500 in a lot of cases.
I agree, but because it has the assist tag, it's super effective with the 3-2 that's coming up.
Yes.
That's true, but your other
One second,
backwards
I'll be
also
right back.
have
Your other
Assists.
backrows will also have assists, but now in the unlikely event that you lose your overpowered card, you can now keep it on the field.
That's true.
So I'd like it. I wouldn't run more than like 2 or 3 in a deck, but because you
Yeah,
can
I.
grab it with Riki anyways, because it's level 1 or lower,
Hmm.
or Yuma, I guess, whatever. And pay 1 rest of this brainstorm search. This is one of 2 cards with that profile right now, and I think it's one of the better brainstorming profiles in the game.
Yeah, honestly, I just read it for the brainstorm.
Like a plussing
Gotta
brainstormer
get
is
those
never bad to
pluses,
have,
man.
especially considering the only other brainstormer in Shining was what, like
The Sonya.
a draw brainstormer, right?
The only
Yes,
other
there's
plussing
the
one.
draw brainstormer.
Yeah, it's like a old draw brainstormer.
Mm.
So I like the card as a brainstormer and then like as a 2 of max.
Yeah, I'd run 2 of.
This card, 2 of. Yeah, I could see it as a 2 of. I'm still not sold on it, but yeah, whatever. Plussing brainstorms, neat.
Yeah.
I'm just not a huge fan of plussing brainstorms in sets that don't need the plussing brainstorm effect. Like at some point you're just wasting stock for shots in the dark.
Fair. Although having a plussing brainstormer on the field never hurts. You
No,
don't
no,
have
never
to use the
hurts.
effect.
I'm just not a big fan of the mentality that a lot of people adopt, where as long as you have a plussing brainstorm, you're fine. That's not the case. That's really not the case. And I don't think this is like part of your central game plan either. It's nice to have, and you can back up like the 1-1, the 2-1 Agnum with it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So how much is the SP?
I think it's like what 250 or something.
Does it come
I
down
don't
yet?
know. I don't know if it went down.
So this is one of the Nana Mizuki SPs. Oh, it's only at 20k right
Oh,
now.
it's down to 20. Cool.
Yeah, it's in stock as well. So if you
Man.
want to go for it, now's as good a time as any.
Encouraging
Anyway.
bad life decisions. Brought to you by Lychee Man.
I'm confused. Why is the Sonya restand at 300 while the Yuma is 400 and the Dragon is sitting at 100?
Because people smoke crack.
I think Yute is great at smoking crack. It seems one of the main things that they do all day.
They probably just based on what people were buying, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, these tasteless fools. Like the only commons worth more than 30 yen are like the banned counters. Oh, and the 1-0 Kurika. Yeah, no, I'm not happy with these prices.
Moving
The
on
next-
to the next card.
We shall.
All right.
A 2-1 anti-change counter. Relevant because it's a sack counter.
No, it's not.
Thought it was a sack counter. It's a 2-1.
Wow.
Send a character from field to waiting room, bottom deck.
Oh, you clock yourself.
Oh, it's clock herself.
Yeah, you punch yourself.
Oh, bottom decking is relevant at least.
It's basically Zuiho.
Yeah, it's Suiho, but it's definitely not as good as a sack counter.
No.
This is a one-off because you're probably running 3 of the 1-0
2K counter.
eye patch girl, whose name I've forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree then. I thought it was a sack
It's
counter.
fine.
Now I'm wrong.
It's fine. Like you can sometimes get opposing Shining players with this.
Yeah.
Just,
Bottom
punch yourself and bottom the 2-2. Take that.
Yeah, and then they get to get it back next turn.
Yes, exactly. Well, depending on their back row, they might have actually run in one of their Kiriko assists, so they'd need to find another one of those as well.
So they just go on the supreme minusing journey where they're like playing cards to get that.
Well, luckily Kiriko herself does not actually plus when she comes to play. So we've gotten to the card. Its name is Song That Grants Blessings Kiriko. It's a 2/2. It's a 3/2. Its power is 9k, and if you've got 2 or more other of the Kiriko level 0 assist, it gets -1 level 1 hand.
Also known as it's a 2/2.
Yeah, like it's an extraordinarily easy ability, given how easy it is to search cards in this set. For each of your other assist characters, this card gets power plus 1k, so it's usually going to be 11 to 12k, if not more. because you've got no shortage of good assists. There aren't any like,
Good global effects.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh, there are no false assists in this set to make you not play this card, not play assists. I mean, and when this card is placed from hand to stage, you heal one. It's pretty neat.
It's a 2/2
You
healer
two
that gets
11k heal.
Yeah,
big.
it's a
And
2/2 fat ass healer, which probably has encore if you have the brainstorm, or is probably even bigger if you have the level support.
yep.
Hmm.
And the annoying part is because it's an advanced summon that doesn't rely on having a certain amount of deck, you can refresh and then you can play this for the additional compression.
Yep.
Don't
Pretty,
forget that you can search it for one cost.
yeah, there's that too.
Return.
Every turn, and then I guess you can convert those cards to 1/0s by encoring them, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that particular uh, advantage conversion.
This card is free. I
It's
don't
it's
like
kind of stupid.
it's
It's like the second best card in the set, maybe.
it's such a free early level effect.
Mm.
In my experience with a similar effect in a set that can't search at all, I still get that effect all the freaking time.
Yeah, but you have to kind of hold it. Whereas this set has this, like I said, this set has the back row syndrome.
This set gets it for free.
Yes, they get it for free. Do it for free.
Uh,
All right, next card, Lesty Serra Alma. So this is the drop searcher that gets any musical dragon character. I still
Yep.
think this is like needed as a one or two of because sometimes you just really want to get your Sonya.
Mm-hmm.
yep.
It's good.
Yep. Drop searcher. Fairly
Yeah.
typical.
I've heard a lot of people that they don't want to run this and like whatever, but I would run it. Like I enjoy having backups. And when I
It's
say
like it's
backup,
the only thing that can search your level threes, unless you want to rely on your brainstormer.
I'm pretty sure that Kira can be gotten.
Well, okay.
We should stop talking about that card. I think the salt levels
Yeah.
are rising.
Yeah. Oh, I don't care about it. It's just an 11k or 12k or whatever.
Or
Yeah,
whatever
only.
that heals.
Only
Is
heals. Yes.
free to play or the freest early
Hey.
level condition ever.
Look, I dealt with Zero no Tsukaima. I can deal with this.
Zero no Tsukaima is harder to do than this.
No, it is not.
I'm not saying it's hard.
No, it's actually easier than this, I reckon.
Okay, next
Anyway,
card.
anyway.
It's a
Next.
bird.
It's cheese.
Okay, it's
Um,
it's a cheesy
Homage.
bird.
This is Warden Axel or Holy Goddess Miku or whatever you want to call it. Tap two characters to pump a musical dragon character by 2k.
You don't run it.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be okay if you didn't already run stuff that had to tap themselves.
Also, the fact that you already run like a fixed 8 cards at level 0, and then with drop searchers you already have
Yeah.
12, and then it's like, oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I need 4
You
slots for an
basically
actual
don't run
beater.
right
I
now.
guess it's time to run the runner.
You don't need 4 slots for a beater. I reckon you can run like one of these. It could make the difference.
If you really need to make your runner 4K.
No, I reckon you can just chuck this in the front row, pump something else relevant like the restander, and it could be the difference.
I guess.
Yeah.
At that
I'm
point,
not
I'm kind of
opposed-
tempted just to use the 1/1 counter to pump on my own turn, though.
Yes, that's fair, but this is searchable by the Yuma and by the Sonya Brainstorm. Like,
At least it's music.
yeah, I'm not opposed to this as a one-off, but I'm also not opposed to this as a zero-off. So, yeah.
Next card.
Next.
Evil-looking princess girl, Excella Noah Aura. Is she an antagonist? She can't be. She's the sign.
Oh, I don't know if this is like a spoiler.
All right. No spoilers.
No
this
spoilers
card's
for the English viewers who will never get this game.
Yeah.
Hey, it might be. You never know. When this card is placed from hand to stage, send a card from your top of your deck to waiting room. If it's a climax, this goes to stock. My favorite oversized level 0 ability.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, like it's not actually a demerit if you get a climax because then this card goes to stock. You've gotten your stock for the turn out of it,
Hmm.
and you get to take more damage and get to level one faster.
Yeah.
And late game, it's a mill, and it is also occasionally, very, very occasionally, extra stock. Like in 4 or 5 years of playing, I've gotten this stock ability. No, not 4, 5, like 3, 4, because the Yosuke only came out then. In like 3-ish years of playing with the Yosuke with these equivalent effects, I've only gotten it late game once. And I've played with it quite a bit. It's nothing but upside, I feel.
Yep. Next card.
Yep. Next
Syscon.
card.
Syscon.
Syscon.
Yep. So he loves his younger sister, Lesty. Is this guy Kirika's older brother?
Yes.
Wow, how did I guess?
And he really does dote on his younger sister. So
Dope. Sure. When this card comes to from hand to stage, mill a card. If it's a climax, this card dies.
cool. Like,
It's like a billion times worse than what we just discussed.
yeah. I don't know why they put this in the same set, like
I don't
right
know.
next to the fucking 3/5.
Because they hate you and everything you stand for. Like, I run this card in LB because I'm running a man theme deck, and this is the best man beta at level 0. I would never run it otherwise.
Yeah, I wouldn't run this card.
Yeah, like, this is barely usable in a husband deck. Like, I'm not sure you can put it in an actual meta deck.
Hmm.
Alright, next card.
Level 5.
I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'm not even going to try.
He looks like
Yeah.
a bad guy.
His science
For
trait
sure.
can't possibly be bad. So he's one of the global assists that we talked about not being relevant. All your other characters get 500 and one cost, kill another character and rest this card. So it's an act ability. You can only do it during main phase, which means you are losing that character. Like, you don't get to cheat.
Forever. Unless it's hand-on card, in which case, whatever.
Yep. You draw a
What's the
card
point?
and then give another character dragon trait. So I assume that you, like, magicked someone away and turned that magic into a... Does he turn people into dragons? I feel like he does.
Yeah, he does like experiments on
So
people.
he is a bad
like,
guy.
Yeah,
So
pretty
it's
much.
pseudo flavor, is it? Or is it actual flavor?
It's pretty flavorful.
Okay, it's pretty flavorful, but no one will ever see it because it's a bad card.
Yes.
Yep.
It's not actually bad, it's just worse than your other options.
I don't see why you would run this, for instance,
Why-
over the Brainstormer at all.
Yeah. Like, why would you run... Oh, it's level 1 as well. That's even
Yeah.
worse.
It's not even relevant in like older builds because
It's not weapon trait.
it's not weapon.
Magic is barely relevant.
Giving people dragon is useless.
Oh, the draw 1 is okay. It's
Yeah,
a 1
but
cost...
it's a one cost sack one, so it's still going
Yeah,
even. You paid
go
one to
net one.
filter,
Mhm.
More or less.
and you paid one to filter a card into something you don't know what you're drawing. So it's like, how much do you believe in the heart of the cards?
This is Weiss. We don't believe in the heart of the cards.
No, we believe in salt.
Waifu devotion. Waifu devotion.
I
Okay.
believe in salt.
Okay, you can believe in soul. Next card is Diva Magica Kirika. This is the weird pseudo change that's reminiscent of the Futami sisters from IMAS or
Yes.
the Urza changes from Fairy Tail. Less so the Urza changes, more the Futami sisters.
One of the colors is missing from Ikoku, so we can't look at it. It's so sad.
I'm sure that I can't see it, but I'm sure the viewers are being subjected to a wonderful rainbow of incredibly lazy card printings by now.
I'll just flash back and forth for like the next 30 seconds.
Give someone epilepsy, I dare you.
Like,
So,
I don't think I can do this fast enough to do that.
The actual card is when this card is placed from waiting room to stage, so not from hand to stage, waiting room to stage. If you've got 2 or more other musical dragon characters, it becomes a 6/5. And when this card is reversed, if you've got Resonance of Souls, which is the pants climax, in your climax zone, you get to draw a card.
When its battle point is reversed.
Yes, when its opponent is reversed, my bad. And it's got the ability change. It just dies, so you don't have to pay cost or anything. At the
Hmm.
beginning of climax phase, you may pay cost. If you do, choose the next card we're going to talk about, which looks basically the same, and put it in the slot.
Just the same.
Yeah, like there's definitely going to be issues with this card. They look so similar, and
Yeah.
someone's probably going to cheat at some point and use the draw climax to bring out the same card. Like it's going to happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the next card, the girl who inherits ancient songs, Kirika, aka the change target.
Ooh,
It's got
more
the
cards
same.
to flashback between.
Yay.
It's got the same ability. So when it's placed from waiting room to stage, if you've got two or more other musical dragon characters, you get 2.5k. So it's 6.5. And then when this card attacks, if you've got the pants trigger, it gets another 1/5 going to 8k, and the ability to bottom deck its opponents. And
Oh
it's also
dear
got the
God.
change clause where you can change it into the one that draws one.
There are four
So they
different
basically
arts.
change into each other.
Yeah. They change into each other, which means you need to have the other one in the waiting room in order to make it a 6/5. But if
Hmm.
you do, you have 6/5s every single turn.
Oh
which
no,
is
they're evil. I just realized something. The 33A card and the 34C card are the same art.
no. The skirt is different.
It's slightly different.
The skirt is different.
Okay, okay. This is terrible.
Yes. Anyway, it's pretty stupid and it will piss everyone off. But I think this combo is serviceable but not good.
This combo will literally, if you can't change, if you are incapable of changing, you cannot kill anything.
Well, you can kill. You'll still be 6/5 because you'll be playing a pants and you're getting 1/5 power.
You'll be 6/5 with this one. You'll be 5k with the other one.
Fair enough.
And
Man, it's like well,
Like my problem with this is the problem I specifically don't have with the Urza one, and I do have with the
Twins one?
Futami twins. Like in the deck that runs the Futami twins, that's not their level one game plan. They're running those cards
It's
because
a
they need
filler.
to fill in space.
their
They
level
have
one
a
game plan
better-
is Dodai.
yeah, their level zero game plan is their full game plan. They don't need to clutch on this. Whereas this will probably be your deck's level one game plan if you're running this.
Yeah, the
Well,
problem with
it's
this
a
combo
level
in particular is that you're dedicating like basically the full 8 slots to run 4 copies of both cards because
Well,
if
you might run less, but yeah, you
you-
do run as many
you
as
basically need to run as many as possible because if you don't have it in waiting room and you try to go for the change and let's say you've already paid cost, well, you paid cost. Like
GG.
There is
GG,
no-
you just lost
Oh,
the attacker
yeah.
at the climax phase, paying cost of sending this to waiting room.
possible. That is correct. But you'd make sure that never happens.
You would make
Check
sure.
your waiting rooms, kids.
Hopefully.
People will forget at one point, and they're going to ask to take it back, and there's going to be that one dick who says, fuck you.
Hmm.
Yeah, more or less. I'm not sold on this combo because it's far too central and far too finicky, as opposed to the Urza combo, which like gives your character encore so you can do it again next turn, or the Futami combo, which is mostly
Plus
irrelevant and mostly filler, costless cards that get you stock.
Also gives you plus soul.
Yeah, you get 1/0 2 soul beaters, which is pretty nice actually.
1/0
You
2 soul
also-
beaters are like 1085 characters for turns, like whatever.
You also need a climax to get full value out of this, and while I appreciate it's a pants climax, it's like kind of annoying. I don't know.
I think I still like the 1/0 whatever the dude is better.
Yeah,
It's
like
a
I
more
like the
reliable
yellow level
effect.
one. I like the yellow level one a lot better, but if you do decide to run like a Kirika theme deck or whatever, this will be your level one, and you will need to keep drawing your 1/0s because they're going to die, and you're going to need them again, and there's no way to salvage in this set.
Well, if you run the hand encore giver,
Yeah, and then you're converting the cards you drew into cards that you
Yeah,
just want on
I
the field. And at that point, you're like, was it
guess.
worth it?
I'm not sure it's worth it unless because you can't chain. Like unless you have a good mix, you're not going to be drawing cards every turn. You're going to want to get advantage. I think the bottom deck effect kind of sucks.
Bottom
Unless
deck is
you're
only
playing-
relevant if you can kill clock encores with it.
No,
Yeah.
bottom deck is relevant if you're playing the Shining Resonance Mirror, and they're also running this card. And then they
Dear
cry
God.
because your Kirikas get kicked to bottom deck, and then their Kirikas sit there and presumably also get kicked to bottom deck because you're going to do that on your turn.
Dear God, it's like I just don't like this combo very much. It's like one of those things.
Yeah.
Like if you miss the change, it's literally doing nothing. You have to side attack for the turn. It's like, oh dear God.
Relying on this sounds like torture.
yeah, I don't
It's
like it at all.
so difficult to control in a set like this. Anyway, next card, Beatrice Irma. It's not magic or dragon, not music or dragon trait. So this is like one of those rare unsearchables.
It's also no, it's searchable. It's one less. You got Riki.
Oh, it is one or less. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get it by that. And it's a 6/5. You've got 5 or more hand, which is nice.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I think there was
It's a
another
one-
1065 though that was better.
yes, we did.
Searchable, and 500 for every other.
And it's also Sonia, and Sonia is better than Beatrice, which is an old lady name. She's definitely not an old lady.
She's also an antagonist, so
Oh,
Oh,
well, yeah, she's not music or dragon trait. She has to be an antagonist.
of course, of course.
All right,
Uh,
next. Yeah,
yeah.
do we need to talk more about it? It's a 6/5. It's okay, but I think that yellow is better.
yes.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention that, this is a little bit of support for older builds. That
Okay,
support my
sure.
class, but
This
yeah.
is true. It is relevant for older decks
Yeah,
because
it's
it
a
doesn't
weapon
have
trait.
the trait requirement.
No. It's a weapon trait, which is really
It's on
good.
trait for older builds, and it doesn't have a trait requirement to be effective.
It's also a good costless weapon trait card in blue, which is good for Shining X, if I recall correctly. Because that's where all the comeback campaign stuff is.
Yes.
Okay, next card. Hey look, it's
It's vanilla. Moving on.
someone has mistranslated this card in the translations I'm looking at. He very, very, very much wished that this card had. No, I'm not even gonna read. I'm not even gonna.
See,
Not
this is
even-
what
yeah.
we get for reading Katsu's translations.
Yeah. Anyway,
It's the effect she deserves.
we've got some bias here. Bias.
If-
It's a
if-
1/0 vanilla. Nothing to say here.
Mm-hmm.
Elven Knight of the Ice Fang Lesty. Now this is actually a good card.
It's a 118K.
It's a 1/1
8K.
8K. Yeah, it's essentially 8K if we're going to call the level 3 Kirika a 2/2 because you're gonna have the Kirika. And this will make it an 8/5. Possibly with Encore.
1185s
Yep.
of Encore aren't bad. It's a,
It'll be-
I-
I don't know if it'll be 1185 with Encore because that means
it's
you're
in the
putting
center
in
slot.
set.
One of
I don't
them
know-
will have
I don't know if
Encore and
it's-
85. Otherwise, it says
Yeah.
an 8K with Encore or an 85
It's
without
fine.
Encore. But
It's like ancient beats, but
I
worse.
just, it's just fundamentally speaking, if you're gonna play a deck with walls, right? You pick a deck that has unbombable walls, or they're bigger.
I agree. Like if you're speaking from a any card is available perspective.
Yes.
But if you're playing Shining and you decide you want to wall a little, then having one or two of this is not
Yes,
a bad
and
idea.
if you've decided to wall a little, I'm more or less inclined to still run the 2/1, just because it's a bit lower on the power, but at least it can't get bombed.
That's fair.
Like the fundamental problem with being a level 1 wall without preventing reverse effects is that you get killed by the multitude of level 1 reversers that exist now.
No, that's fair. All right. So I think it's a fine card to run as a couple of. I wouldn't crutch on it.
I would rather run the 2/1 if I was gonna run something at level 1 like
Yep.
this.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Next card, Mood Maker Rinna. It's a 2/1 8K, can't side attack, and if the character opposing this card's level 3 or higher, it gets 3K.
I hate this effect. I hate this effect. I hate this effect. It's an awful effect.
I don't know about awful, but if it doesn't give soul, then yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion the most popular one, which is the Lightning Flash Asuna, which has the plus soul at least, is rather unfortunate because I will see that card and
Stock kick.
start dropping level zeros in front of it.
They gave Index one of those cards in the comeback campaign. I think it's pretty mediocre.
A stock kick?
No, a 2/1.
Oh
two
yeah,
soul.
the accelerator.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I don't know why you'd run that when you're playing Index and you're truly trying to just get as many Tomas into your deck as you can possibly fit.
If you're confused, then you can go to our blog and scroll down and find it. Shameless advertisements.
Shameless
they're
advertisement.
already watching our video.
This is true. Yeah. Anyway, if you've gotten this far, congratulations. This card is not good.
That's
yeah.
it.
What's the art like? Oh, it's not bad.
2/2, 10k 2 soul.
Anti-backup.
Okay, yeah, it says whenever a battling cards during this character's battle cannot be backed up. So you can't back up, they can't back up.
And backup, as in character backup, you can still use events.
Yep.
You can use your stock punch.
So if you really want to... Like, I'm assuming that this is like an antagonist. You can be
Yeah.
incredibly out of flavor and use band to back this up.
It's like alternate universe where he's the good guy.
I feel like that using band on this guy should probably kill him. Is band like an overdrive type attack or
Yeah, it's pretty much like a group over limit.
okay?
Like
So
kills.
yeah, so you do use it to kill this dude at some point,
Yeah.
All right.
and
So when
then
this card's killed, you clock yourself.
oh, it's a zombie.
It is a zombie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not relevant because it'll just get clock kicked, but
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
unless you like banned it. And
So ultimately, what you come back to is he's 2/2, and there's this other 2/2 card that's bigger
Oh, yeah.
and doesn't have a
Look,
deficit.
I keep hearing Katsu whisper the word "stock kick" out of the corner of my ear, and
Oh,
I'm,
Stock
I'm
punch.
don't stock punch like whatever. This does not justify running a bad card.
The stock punch counter is a sack counter. That's relevant.
It's great, but that doesn't mean you run this.
No, you don't run this.
This card is bad. The stock counter is like fine, but this is bad.
The stock counter is like one of the reasons to run green and shining at all.
Right, if you guys don't know what a stock counter is, we're not going to spell it out for you. Go look it up on Hard the Cards or whatever, but it's a really good card.
I don't remember
Yes.
what set it's in, but it's in green and it's an event.
It's
so there's
Shining Shining Force Exa.
It's-
there's literally like 3 cards that you can possibly be looking at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but don't be lazy. Right, that brings us to the end of the set review. There's a couple PRs we can quickly go over. I don't think they're very relevant.
Not
I don't
really.
even.
Yeah, there's a Brainstorm, which is quote unquote worse than the Exceller, and also quote unquote worse than the Sonya, because at level 0 you have other ways to plus. Sonya will serve every other possible ability, and she also has much better art. No, I'm not gonna lie.
So yeah, that's the full list. It looks like. Did I can't find.
Yeah,
it.
the other Kirika kind of sucks. Don't worry, they're
Yeah,
I found the promos.
Oh, I just realized I replied to this thread and sarcastically saying that it's going to have so many great resonance combos.
Oh yeah, I was about to.
Yeah,
And then it actually had
yeah,
a couple
yeah.
of good
I
resonance
mean, what'd you
combos.
expect from Shining Resonance?
Can,
Well,
can we
when
blame
they-
can we blame you for this?
When they announced Unlimited Blade Works, they were like, "This is going to be unique. No other sets got this," and
And then
now
it was
this has
garbage.
I guess they said the same thing with Accelerate and Excel World, and now
Accelerate was
several
also
sets have it.
garbage.
Accelerate's like today's card of the day is Accelerate thingy. Yeah,
There's like 2 sets
Anyway.
with Accelerate.
3. Persona has one.
Oh well, Persona's like the
My.
greatest tragedy in Weiss.
Mm.
I'm talking in
Persona
terms
has a-
of sets released relative to power level.
Persona does have decent. I think it's a fine set. Anyway,
I'm just talking in relative terms. There's no set with that much card pool and this
Yeah.
much not good.
Oh, in fairness, it has a lot of cards, like a lot of early sets, and early sets kind of suck.
Unless you're Disgaea.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I did not know Saori Hayami voiced Kirika. Well, now I have to buy the sign. Rip me.
Well, there goes
Sonya?
there goes your wallet. We'll pray for it every day.
I just bought another SP Ricky because it was cheap.
Define cheap.
15k.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quote unquote cheap.
Well, no,
I mean,
it's not my fault.
It is
Anyway.
cheap.
Yeah, it is cheap for an SP Ricky, but I'm buying an SP Ricky. Like, there's something wrong there.
Well, he's best girl, isn't he?
Yeah, so what do you guys think? What are you running at level 1? What are you running at level 3?
At level 1, looking through the set now, I think the level 1 yellow game is more consistent, more reliable, and I prefer going heavy on yellow in this particular set.
Mm-hmm.
No man, you gotta run those changers.
The changers are super finicky, and I imagine they're going to lose you more games than they're going to win when you do the change and realize they're not there, and your opponent's like, nope, you paid cost.
Rip.
And then you're like, well, I'm an idiot. And you'll never do it again because you'll never play the combo ever again.
Yeah, more or less. I'm just full in on yellow level 1. It's got really good costed and costless options, and
The early play is very good too. I like it. The 2-1 early play.
Yeah, the 2-1 is fine.
Oh.
And then you go straight into blue and
Yeah, at that
everything.
point you run level 3 blue, whatever her name is, because she's
Yeah.
free, and then at the top
Basically.
end, your choice of basically running, I guess, 4 of the Restander or 2 and 2 of.
No, it'll be like 3-1 because Yuma is fine by himself, and Shining Dragon you only ever use once.
The only
And
problem,
it
well, I guess if you don't have it there, you just don't do the effect. It's fine.
exactly there are ways to set him up anyway.
I mean, you have
Yeah.
drop searchers, so
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, more or less. That's pretty much what I would do for Kirika level 3 because you need the search targets. Maybe 3 Yuma,
mean,
1 Dragon, or 4
Kiriko's even
Sonya.
one of the cards that you could like even just run at 3 because like you're always gonna get it to your hand if you want it.
No, you want it because you need your pluses from the support.
Yes, you
Gotta
do.
get those clocks at level 0. That's actually probably one of the most like effective parts is you just pay 1 to have an extra card to clock.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's basically it. It's a 1 cost plus.
It's like pay 1, clock yourself, draw 2. Okay, we in there.
Oh no. You don't clock yourself with the Kirika.
No, I'm saying you can clock yourself
Yeah.
after you drew the
You
card.
could.
No, you pay 1.
You pay 1 to
get the
search it,
card,
then you
and
clock
the
it
next
to draw
turn,
2
Yeah, the next turn you clock it and draw 2, I guess.
if you don't need
but-
it yet.
Well, you're never going to need it at level 0, but then you do it again next turn, then you can have it and hold it.
Then
if
you
have
just
to.
keep it because at some
Yeah.
point you're gonna hit level 2. I hope.
Good card.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope for the sake of the person you're playing against.
Yeah. So I personally think level 1 yellow is just better, and
For sure.
and
Yeah.
the other thing that I think is I just like Sonya better than Yuma. Although I can totally get behind like 3 Yuma, 1 Dragon or something like that.
I was gonna say like 3 Uma, 2 Dragon,
But
but
if you have a dragon in
I
your
don't know.
hand, it's just sad.
I don't know if you need 2 at all.
Because it's
I mean,
affecting-
one is perfectly viable. I just think 2 is maybe just a little more consistent.
Oh, okay, if you can find the room,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's fair.
Your level 1 game is pretty open, at least in this set too.
Mhm.
You have 2 options, really, if you want to go for it. I still don't like the changing, though. It's so finicky. And if you, like, it's also like one of those cards, like, okay, I'm level 0. Whoops, I got hit to level 1 because I went first, and then they just decided to swing 3 times. And then it's like, oh, I guess I lose my combo now.
Alright, just gonna say that the Sonya Brainstorm also has the best art in the set, and that it's only 30 yen, so I'm going to fill a binder page.
Okay.
Must be convenient being able to get all your cards sooner than, like, shipping it stateside.
Well, no, I have to ship it stateside as well.
Oh no.
It takes about a week and a
It
half,
takes twice as long for you then.
Yeah, dude, this guy's on the moon.
pretty much.
It's a wonder we can even talk to him.
We've got satellite internet these days. It's
No.
pretty good. All right. So that's Shining. Any closing thoughts?
If I'm gonna rank the set in terms of power level,
Yeah, I reckon like
solid
if we're talking like
A
S,
minus?
A plus,
S
A,
plus tier.
S plus tier on art, on actual viability, I reckon maybe A minus.
I'd say A or A minus. Like if I'm saying S is
I don't know.
little
Like I
busters with
haven't
2 soul.
I haven't looked at people overrate that. I haven't looked at Shining Exa very closely, so I don't know how much that set offers. I assume it's like basically nothing.
Yeah,
But
you pretty
bas-
much can't run anything.
Yeah, based on resonance alone, I think the set is very viable. I just don't think it has the I just don't think its finisher spread and its utility spread is as good as a lot of other sets.
I think the finishers are super vulnerable to some of the popular sets right now.
Yeah, that is a big problem.
Yes.
And finishing power is like amazingly important right now.
I mean, you'll hit so many kantais and basically kantais. I mean, who runs Little Busters?
Yeah, no one runs LP.
Yeah, man.
No one runs LB. But you'll run
one
into
at
so many.
all.
You'll run into so many kantais that it's actually like a problem. Compass will just ruin your day,
Yeah, more or less.
more or less. And then you also have the problem like if you're playing against like a Nisakoi, they're just gonna kill you first.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's like the finishing is the biggest problem for the set, and the comeback campaign promos, which are finishers, aren't as good as the ones in this set either. So it's still not like you have a good top end.
Yep.
You have a very good level 2 game.
Yeah. You've got a Zero no Tsukaima tier level 2 game, which is pretty good.
All the set needed
Okay,
was
just stay at
heal
level
punches.
2 all game.
All this set needed was a heal punch, and then you could pretend you were playing Zero no Tsukaima, but better.
No, I think the stock punch is pretty great.
Stock punch is good. Heal punch is good too.
So, yeah, I think it's a very viable set. I think they did a good job making Shining quote-unquote relevant again, although in honesty, they didn't make it relevant again, they just made an entirely new set.
Yeah, they basically just made an entirely new set.
Which is fine by me. It seems to have worked, and the art is pretty as always. As
Yeah.
always, I don't know if it's always been pretty.
It's not Sengoku, but
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Tony Taka, come on.
I repeat, it's not Sengoku, but if you want a real man set,
You want a real man
Okay.
set? Play Melty Blood?
If you want a real man set, play Muscle LD.
Oh, I play both of those. Am I a real man?
where does Joj put me?
Waifu killer. You're a lady killer. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this particular set review. I hope you have enjoyed it, whoever's watching, and we will bring you a Girlfriend Beta 1 eventually when schedules mesh, and a Titans 1 is possibly incoming as well.
Titans, we
So-
might wait till Japanese release, because
Yeah, we're considering waiting to Japanese. I mean, we have the full set list, and there are people really hyped about it, and it will actually help people out because I see nothing but hype.
it is especially good as kind of like a good first set for people to be getting into Weiss
Yeah.
with.
Like the NA's group is basically nothing but how do I Titans, and
Apparently.
same with Reddit.
Well, as the resident army deck player, we in there.
Yeah. No, we'll see what happens in the near future, and yeah, that's about it. So thanks for listening, everyone, and have a good day.